Hi everyone, welcome to Watch Knitting. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make this awesome and versatile stitch. It's a lot like the fisherman stitch and works great for all kind of projects. If you are following my neck warmer tutorial, this is the stitch you will need to finish that project. Don't miss that video, it's linked in the description below. Now grab your needles and yarn and let's jump right in. I'm using bulky yarn for this tutorial. The label suggests US 10 needles, but I found that it turns better using a slightly smaller needle. So I'm using US 9 needles. This stitch is based on a rib pattern with 2 purls and 1 knit as the base. You will need to cast on a multiple of 3 plus 1. For this demo, I'm gonna cast on 13 stitches to keep things simple. By the way, if you are a beginner, check out my basic knitting tutorials on the channel first. I won't be covering the beginner stuff here, so it's good to get comfy with the basics before diving in here. Okay, now that I have cast on 13 stitches, I will tie a knot at the end. I would like to mention that at the start of each row, I'll pick up the edge stitch, except for this row, which is the very first row, I will knit it. When you pick up the edge stitch, it gives cleaner look to the edge. Also, at the end of each row, I always knit an edge stitch. For the following rows, I will pick up the first stitch without knitting it. We will begin with 3 rows to set up the base pattern before moving into the actual pattern. My base row will repeat the rib pattern as knit 2 purl 1. As you see, I do knit 2 and purl 1. And I'm gonna end my row with 2 knit stitches following the pattern and then knit my edge stitch and will finish my base row. Here will be my row 1. I'll start by picking up the edge stitch. Okay, and then I will follow the rib pattern. You see there is a purl 2. I'm gonna purl these 2 at the beginning. 1, 2. And then when you get to the knit stitch, instead of knitting directly into the stitch, you're gonna grab the yarn from the lower leg of the knit stitch in the row below, here this one, and place it on your left needle and then knit it through back loop. This keeps the pattern structure intact. Then transfer the original knit stitch to your right needle and repeat purl 2. And again, we're gonna do pick up the yarn from the leg of the knit stitch, place on the left needle, and then we're gonna knit through the back loop. Then transfer the original knit stitch. And again, repeat purl 2. Here I'm gonna zoom a little bit more. It gives better idea. Here you see the V shape. We're gonna insert the needle to a stitch below from back. Grab the yarn from there and then knit it through back loop. And then transfer the next stitch. And you're gonna repeat these and finish the row with 2 purls and the edge stitch at the end. Basically, that was the row 1. In the return row, row 2, pick up the edge stitch. Next, we have 2 knit stitches followed by the knit stitch from the previous row and the transferred original stitch. We're gonna knit the next 2 stitches. For the knit stitch and its transferred original stitch, purl them together and make sure the yarn is under the needle, not over it. And keep repeating the same thing. Knit 2, purl 2 together. That's what we're gonna do for the rest of this row. We're gonna repeat same thing, knit 2 and purl 2 together and finish the row with knit 2 and edge stitch. What we have done so far sets up the foundation. From here we will repeat row 1 and 2 with one small tweak. Row 3 starts by picking up the edge stitch, follow the rib pattern, purl 2. This time, instead of grabbing the lower leg of the knit stitch, pick up the yarn below the lower leg. Here you see the lower leg, not that one. We're gonna grab the yarn under it, this one right here. We're gonna place it on the left needle and knit it through back loop and transfer the next stitch. Now purl 2. Okay. When you are at the knit stitch, look for the stitch underneath the leg of the knit stitch. This one here. Knit it through the back loop. Transfer the next stitch and purl another 2. Here again, we are basically making a pattern out of 3 stitches. And this is my last repeat here. I'm gonna end my row with purl 2 and knit a stitch. The return row, row 4, is the same as row 2. Knit 2 stitches and purl 2 together. Initially, the pattern might not be very noticeable, but as you continue, the texture will begin to emerge. I'll take a short break here to work on a few more rows of camera. Here, what it looks like after a couple more rows. See how the pattern is starting to show. It's such a great texture and so satisfying to work on. I'm gonna do another row here. You see the piece under the lower leg. This is the lower leg and this is the yarn behind it. I grab that yarn and knit it through back loop. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more knitting tips and fun projects. Got questions or ideas? Drop them in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me and happy knitting!